Standing Point Task Part 2 in Costa Atardecer, Chiapas. Hello there everybody and welcome to another special episode of SnowRunner here at Opafet Gaming. I am the Opafet. We are in the second part of the Standing Point Task where we are going to try and deliver 300 liters of water to the Explorers Camp. And we are driving the Derry Special 15C-177, which can carry 2,200 liters of water in the tank. Now the reason I chose the Derry Special is because that way I don't have to pull a water trailer. Because if you've been watching my videos, you know that not only am I not the best in pulling it, I'm awful in backing anything up. So the Derry Special, even though it's a little longer and it's going to give you a little bit of trouble going around some of these corners, I still prefer to use it instead. I think it's a cool looking truck. And it just, I don't know, I just like it. It's a heavy truck and it drives really nice. It has lots of fuel, great traction, lots of power. So we're going to see if we can make this happen. Now we started from the garage, which is in the lower right hand corner, and we got to take this all the way up to the Explorers Camp, which is up near the top right hand corner. So we got a little ways to go, and halfway down, just past where the Croc Farm is where the water tank is, where we're going to load up with water. But before we get there, we have to cross this pontoon bridge here. We built that right near the beginning when we first started the map. And it really helps out because it opens up the side so you don't have the side of the map, so you don't have to drive all the way around. But the pontoon bridge takes a little bit of practice to get over. It's a little difficult, and I always seem to have a little bit of trouble. So I try to go a little bit, well, I go extra slow, as you can see. And then I'm always glad when I get to the other end. Made it. Now the Derry Special is pretty good through the mud. Also pretty good with the snow. If the water gets really deep and it's muddy underneath, it has a little bit of trouble and gets bogged down a little bit. Other than that, it's not bad. The biggest con I would say with the Derry Special is the length of the vehicle itself. And that is here on these maps, because on other maps where you got lots of room, it's not a problem. Some of these here turns are pretty tight, but we will deal with them as they come up. Now the Derry Special is not a speed demon, and just around here I noticed when I looked down that I equipped it before we left the garage. I equipped it with the wrong gearbox, and that's why I don't have a high gear or a high or low range for the low gear. But we're gonna hope that it's gonna do its job the way it's supposed to, and then next time when we get to the garage, we're gonna rectify that by replacing that gearbox for the better one. Now we're just getting to the bottom end of that little area where the Croc Farm is. And right at the end, as you can see, is the water tower. We're going to load up over there. Now whenever you're traveling through this area, stay on this road. Don't go down to the left. Or if you have to for a delivery, come back up here to this road, because this road is pretty solid. But down below, it's all watery on either side. So this is the safer way to go. See, my Ford Scout is sitting taking a break. We don't need any fuel. We got plenty of fuel left still. Now we only need 300, but we just fill it right up. And then when we finish the task, the vehicle, I'll leave the Derry Special where we finish, and then if we need any water anywhere else, we got some already ready to go. When you come onto the back end here, you got to be a little careful. Because like I said, the Derry Special, not quite like the twin steer, the Western Star twin steer, but almost as long, and it kind of rocks from side to side when you go around a corner too. So you got to kind of treat the rear wheels as the off track of a trailer that you're pulling behind you. Now over here we got to go into the water, and we've been through here a few times. And it usually doesn't give me too much trouble through here, not with the big trucks anyhow. But there again, the turning radius on the Derry is not the best, as you can see. But that's okay. Sometimes you have to jockey back and forth, and like I said, the length of the truck is about the only drawback on this particular map. Other than that, he can do the job. And this front area here where we first get into the water is a little tough, so you use your winch and pull yourself forward wherever you can until you get just past where that little tree is in the middle. Once you can winch onto that one, and it pulls you out beside it, and there's a little bit more clearance. Now the Derry Special also is one of, I think, two, maybe more, there might be more, but two that I know of vehicles that have an active suspension. So if you need more clearance, you can lift your whole truck up a little bit higher than normal, or lower, depending on if you want the weight down lower to get more traction. Who knows? Whatever you like, you could try both. Now we go into the left-hand side of these here little trees and the one big tree, and go around it, and then you'll see that you can climb right back out. And on the left-hand side of this, the way we went, there is a little bit higher ground under the water, so you're not quite so deep. You seem to get more traction there too. Well, the Derry Special seems to be doing okay with the regular gearbox, so I'm hoping that I won't need the high range of the low gear. Now we're going to continue on this path until we get to the Sawmill. And just before the Sawmill, you could either go through or go around it. And going through it is definitely a better option, because going around it, you go through their metal scrapyard in the back, and it's a little bit touch and go when you got to go through there. So just remember that. Go through the Sawmill. But before we get to that, we got this tricky little back and forth hill. Now, like I said, I've been through here a few times, and the smaller trucks, you got absolutely no problem. The Avonhorn even gets through here without a hitch. But the Derry Special is a special truck. We made the first turn. But couldn't quite make it up the rocks there. So I thought I'd try a little bit further to the left. There's nothing to winch on. It won't hook onto that tree. Well, doesn't look like we needed it. But you see, it takes the turn so wide that now you're way on the inside. So you got to reposition the truck to be able to make it around the next turn. It's like driving an extra long bus, I think. Yeah, it's a pretty big machine. But you know, I think for what the truck can do for you, that little issue is not much of a problem. Now you can equip it with a flat deck and a crane, a 2-slot flat deck and a crane, or you can have the water tank, and there's a multiple other additions that you can use. So it's a very versatile truck, and it can be used for a lot of different things. So try it out. Don't pass it over too quickly. Clawing our way down the hill here. We're going to be coming towards the entrance of the sawmill pretty quick here. That is, if we can get past these rocks over here. Sometimes I make myself laugh. It looks like you can make it by there, and then you run right into it. And you go, "What's wrong with you?" But we're having fun, and that's all that matters. Now, as you can see, the drop-off box, the location marker is on the screen, but we're still a little ways away from it. Right over here, when you cross the logs, you go to the left to the sawmill, and you go straight to the metal scrapyard. And we'll go through the sawmill. We're going to just go straight through. We don't need to stop. Well, we couldn't pack anything on the back anyhow. They won't load anything on us, and we don't have a crane. So we're going to go straight through the sawmill, head out the north exit, and just below the little hill of the exit are a bunch of logs, and we're going to take a right turn where the logs are. Kind of hard to see until you get down there, and if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't even know it was there. Now here's where we got to turn. And there again, a little bit of mud, and that's you know, for the Derry Special, it's not an issue. Now think about this whole journey that we've done. If we would have had to take a regular truck, and you'd have to have a fairly powerful truck, and then pull one of those water trailers. I don't know, I think this was an easier way to do it. But hey, maybe you like to play where you're pulling trailers around all the time. Maybe you're really good at backing them up. Maybe you enjoy that. It all depends on what you like. Now, when we're coming over here, we gotta turn off to the left. If you go to the right, then you'd be going to the scrapyard, which is on the other side of the sawmill. But now we gotta climb up to the explorer's camp. Drop off the water for them. It's a little rough here right at the beginning, but just stay a little wide here around these rocks, and there again, because you're driving such a long vehicle, if you're using this vehicle, but if you're pulling a trailer, it might be even harder going around that corner. And the Explorer's Camp drop-off is just at the top of the hill here. Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you got some good information out of it, and I hope to see you back at Oak Fat Gaming again real soon. In the meantime, you've been driving in a Derry Special 15C-177, delivering 300 liters of water to the Explorers Camp, right up here, with me as your driver, the Oak Fat.